2020 forecast.
Welcome back, guys. Ryan Martin joining us now. Ryan, maybe it was just me, but I didn't feel like it was that bad outside today. Do we have anything to look forward to? Is it going to cool down?
Yes, the temperatures are still hot outside, but there's only going to be room for improvement because these temperatures right now only going to get lower. Nothing like those unbearable conditions we saw last week. And let's get to it and show you that right now. Yes, health index for today, low for tree pollen. Grass is the only thing that's moderate. We're still low for mold and weeds, and this is all courtesy of Dr. John D. Bray. You can visit his website at www.johndbraymd.com. Now, looking at the almanac for today, right on 100 for our high, 5 degrees above our normal of 95, and also 5 degrees below our record of 105, and only 2 degrees above our average for our low at 72 degrees compared to 70, which is our average. Now, right now, temperatures in the high 80s. Honestly, if you're heading out tonight, this is ideal temperatures. High 80s, seeing wind speeds at 13 miles an hour, so a decent breeze going on, and also dry conditions too at 26%. None of that sticky stuff like you see over in East Texas with that heavy humidity. But right now, seeing temperatures lower 80s over in Big Spring, 82, then seeing 80s up in Hobbs and seeing 80s in Alpine. But for the most part, you're seeing low 90s throughout the rest of the Permian Basin, seeing 93, 92 down in Big Bend and Presidio, and then seeing 90 degrees right on the mark over in Wink. Now, tomorrow, we're going to see the 80s until about noon to 1 p.m. That's when we're going to get into the 90s tomorrow. And then we do have a chance of getting into the hundreds in the late afternoon hours, but most likely, we're going to be staying in those 90s, but 100 degrees is still the high for tomorrow, so we do have a chance of seeing triple-digit heat, but fortunately, most of the day going to be seeing 90-degree temperatures, and that's the case for Monday. Going to stay in the 90s on Monday, so good news in the temperature department coming up in the next couple of days. Right now, throughout the Lone Star State, mostly seeing 80s. We do have a couple 90s, 94 in Del Rio, 93 in El Paso, but then seeing the 80s just to the north of us and seeing the low 80s along the coast, but we are seeing high 80s over in Dallas-Fort Worth. And on the satellite radar, really not seeing too much in the Lone Star State, mostly clear skies. We saw some thunderstorms earlier in Jeff Davis County and up in southeastern New Mexico, but all of that's cleared out and we're seeing nothing but clear skies throughout the Permian Basin. And the good sign is too that this week, with the temperatures not nearly as hot as last week, we're not going to be seeing those scorching hot temperatures by day and then those severe thunderstorms by night. So that's another thing to look forward to this week. Wind speeds right now, good breeze all throughout the basin, seeing 15 in Fort Stockton, 14 in Alpine, 15 in Marfa, 17 in Pecos, and then 12 over in Hobbs. So a pretty decent breeze all throughout the Permian Basin, and seeing wind gusts in the 20s. Pecos, Fort Stockton, Alpine down to 17, and then seeing 23 over in Dryden. While peak gusts for today got all the way up to 35 in Big Spring, but just about everywhere else we stayed in the 20s throughout the Central Basin. We did see 17 in Marfa, so a little bit calmer down in the Trans-Pecos, and especially down by the border. You can see 8 in the Big Bend, 23 in Alpine for peak gusts for today. And not really much on the humidity side. Very dry throughout the basin. Usually we see these humidity levels a little bit drier over in the west, but that's not the case. They're more even with us right now, though we are seeing a little more humidity in Big Spring at 33%, and then seeing 18 down in Presidio. That's the driest area in the Permian Basin. Now let's get to your regional forecast for tonight. Temperatures in the northern basin, going to be seeing a mild night, high 60s, a couple 70s, 71 in Jow, 74 in Andrews, 70 in Big Spring. Going to go into the 60s in Seminole, though. Then tomorrow, high 90s, low 100s, the possibility, but expect most of these temperatures to stay in the 90s all through tomorrow in the northern basin. And then going into the Central Basin, mid-70s tonight, low 70s in Rankin, 73, Big Lake, 72, Cope Ranch, 72. Then tomorrow, do have a chance of seeing the hundreds, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing 90s all day. We just have that small chance of seeing triple-digit heat in the late afternoon hours. And then going into the Trans-Pecos tonight, 73 in Fort Stockton, 73 in Bakersfield for the low. Then tomorrow, 100 in Fort Stockton, 100 in Bakersfield. Going into the mountains, 65 in Marfa tonight. If you're wrapping up the last couple of days of the Marfa Film Festival, mid-60s tonight for the low, then tomorrow low 90s. So a very beautiful time to be watching the movies in Marfa, and then 103 in Presidio tomorrow. That's going to be the hottest area in the Permian Basin. Now the 7-day forecast, this is good news, a lot of good news. See, we have the warm icon back out, though it's coming back next Saturday, but that's a while from now. We get to enjoy these highs dropping down into the 90s Monday all the way through Friday. So one more day of the possibility of triple-digit heat. Then we're in the 90s, so still hot. Take the same, heat precautions you normally would with water, sunscreen, staying cool, but it's not going to be unbearable like it was last week.
And Ryan, like you said, gorgeous temperatures at night. If you're out at the Marfa Film Festival, you actually were out in Marfa earlier this week.
It was a lot of fun, but unfortunately those very hot temperatures were sticking around when I was there.
Yes, you were out there at the peak, those peak times where those triple digits were out.
I wish I was there tonight because it would be a lot more fun.
I've been to Marfa, beautiful little quaint town.
One of the coolest
towns
towns
lot of fun.
in America.
A lot of fun. Now, Ryan, unfortunately, you're not going to like this news too much. But coming up here on Local 2 News at 10, looks like Pokemon